that you like that kind of fit into what you guys typically do anyway?
Well, I have said, I know Mac has said, Coach Gillespie has alluded to the fact that we love the running back room as a whole. I mean, we've got, there's 5 guys in there, great character guys. They're all very talented. 6 actually, 6 character guys are all talented, and 2 of them have tremendous speed. 2 of them are a little bit bigger and more physical, and it's a well-rounded room. They all know the offense real well. They do a good job pass protecting. What they don't have are all those reps that Michael and Javante took for us this year. And so they have the practice reps. And as I've alluded to in the past, our 1s and our 2s are our blue offense and our white offense get equal reps in practice. So they've had equal preparation on the year, so they know the system. It's just the game reps and the actual game experience against the live opponent that they don't have. And so they're gonna need to respond to that on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, our next question comes from Pranav Rama. Go ahead.
Coach, you just kind of alluded to this, but in terms of your emphasis in practice this week, just because, the bowl game is past Christmas and New Year, and there's a tendency to get, a little loose, how are you going to keep your guys tight, and how are you guys going to make sure that they're doing the right things in practice, and the emphasis this week on that?
Well, if you ever come and spend time here, things are loose all the time. That's how Mac does it. So it's we're relaxed. We have fun in practice. We have fun when we're preparing. I don't think this week is any different. I think we're excited about the opportunity that some of the young guys are going to get. I'm excited to see them. I mean, you're fans of these guys. We spend every day with them, and you know that they're our future, and you look forward to watching them develop and watching them play. And we just have a scenario here where they're going to get an opportunity a little bit sooner. So you plug them in, and we're not going to change anything. I mean, we're going to do what we do. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here now. We still have 42 other guys that know the offense and are instinctive in the offense that we've been running and been successful with all year. So we're going to do what we do. We're going to plug the new guys in and keep going.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, let's go over to Alyssa Ray.
Coach, what was your message to some of these guys in practice this week as far as having to step up, and what's their response been in practice, specifically the 2 in the backfield with Josh and British?
Truthfully, I didn't address it at all. I mean, when we have an injured guy, I don't address it with the team. Occasionally, if Coach Brown feels like that's necessary, then he's the head coach. He'll do that. But from an offensive standpoint, if somebody is out, we plug in the next guy and we practice. And whether that be because of an opt-out or an injury or any other reason that would keep a guy out of practice, don't have the time to address it, don't need to address it. We just line up and go practice and prep for Saturday. And, I think when you handle it that way, you don't make a big deal out of it, it becomes not a big deal. And that's not to downplay the impact that those guys have had on this program over the last 2 years. We certainly all know that. But we also have a game to win, and we have guys that are going to suit up, and so we're going to move forward with them.
Along those lines, how has Sam Howell responded to this? I know, 4 starters, but also 4 leaders on this team. How does he kind of try to get no distractions in practice to keep everyone focused on the game?
So I often think coaches are guilty of making this game a lot more difficult than it has to be. And I think we could very easily have made a big deal out of a little adversity and made a problem out of nothing. I think the only coaching that I gave Sam that he probably didn't even need, because he's mature enough to understand this now, leading the offense for the last 24 games. But the only advice I gave him and the only coaching I told him was not to feel like he has to go and win this game himself. The best thing he can do for our football team right now is to keep doing what he has been doing, manage the offense, make plays when he has the opportunity to make plays, and not go outside the front. The only time he's ever gotten in trouble at all, and it's been very few, is when he's tried to do more than he really needs to do on a play. And I think he'd tell you the same thing. And he hasn't done that in quite a while. And so that's really the only advice I gave him was, look, we need to stay focused and keep doing what we're doing. And, he just gave me the nod that he always gave me, and we go out and practice the way we always do. So it's business as usual right now offensively.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, let's go over to John Wilson. Go ahead, John.
Hey, John.
Coach, how are you?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I was just curious if you draw on any of your experience when you faced Texas A&M during your time at Ole Miss that you can now apply to the meeting in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, I think anything we did wrong then, and we're just not going to do that now, right? This is a different team. Joking aside, this is a completely different team. It's the same offensive system, but we have different players here. There's a different emphasis. We are emphasizing different things in the offense. Some of them are similar, and many of them are different. And it's just like anything else. We have a different cast going into this Saturday than we've had all season, so we're going to play to the strengths of that cast. The cast I had at Ole Miss was different than here, so I went back just to see what Elko did against this X's and O's system, but I think he's going to spend a lot more time watching and studying and preparing for what we're doing here at North Carolina, and that's really the mindset that we have on our end as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to CL Brown. Go ahead, CL.
Hi, Phil. You guys always seem to be in sync through the season on that opening drive. I think it finished with 8 touchdowns. I forgot. It was so many, but you guys are always in sync on that first drive. With having to plug in so many new guys for the starters, is in some way, are you going to be kind of feeling out to get your own chemistry with so many new guys that are going to be plugged in now as starters?
CL, truthfully, I'm really not. I think if I did that, I would be making a mistake on my own part. I think that our offense is the offense. The guys are, we still have 8 of them, and then the 5 that we rotate in and out at those other positions that are really good football players and have contributed to all the success that, the 3 that won't be here have had. So do we expect the guys that we're plugging in to be Javonte and Michael and Diami? No, we don't. So what we'll do, the only difference will be is we may distribute the ball to more players because we need to. I don't know if there's a guy on the roster that can tote the ball 30 times the way Javonte could right now with the way he's playing. And so, you're going to see more names and more faces have a role on Saturday. But in terms of what I'm calling and how I call it and when I call it, I don't know that any of that's going to change. To me, that's going away from what we do well. And
you mentioned talking to Sam about basically playing within himself. Did you have the same conversation with Daz, given that he's been somebody who's provided a lot of big plays over the last couple of seasons, but him not also trying to do too much with Diami Gunn?
No, I haven't had that conversation with Daz. As a matter of fact, I hope Daz tries to score on every single play he touches the football. If he wants to take the team on his back and catch the ball for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, be my guest. We could use as good a game out of Daz as we can get, and that really holds true for all our guys. Go out and do their job and give us your best effort. And if they're looking to overlap some of the production that we have lost, fantastic. The guy that's running the show, the one that's making the mental decisions, we need him to be as focused as he has been and to generate and execute the offense the way he has and let the athletes go make plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next up is Ross Martin.
Hey, Phil, it kind of leads to my next question. Who are you kind of looking to replace what Dami could do as a deep threat, as kind of the bigger wide receiver, and he can go long for Sam Howell?
Well, there's 3 receivers that we're very high on. You have Joffrey Brown's made some big plays this year, and Emery Simmons his role has increased every week as the season has gone on, and he's made some huge plays, especially in the second half of the season. And then we're going to lean on Antoine Green somewhat in the game as well. So those 3, and you may see some of Justin Olsen. Those 3 or 4 guys are going to be our wide receiver core. And, in the backfield, you're going to see Elijah. You're going to see Josh Henderson. You're going to see British Brooks. And that's who's here. Those are the guys that know the job. They're the ones we have confidence in. And so those will be the names that you're calling out on Saturday as opposed to some of the others.
How does having a deep threat like Dami, who can really take the top off of defense, help the overall offense?
Well, I think, the goal is stretch the defense horizontally pre-snap, stretch them vertically post-snap. And in a perfect world, you'd like to get all 11 guys evenly displaced away from each other, so you're creating space for your athletes. It doesn't work that pretty, but when you have a guy like Diami who can stretch you vertically, it gives us an opportunity to do that to the defense. He's always a huge threat down the field. But as I say, Daz is a huge threat down the field. Emery is a threat down the field. Antoine is. Joffrey certainly is. So we're just going to have to do some of the things that we're used to doing with some different faces. And, the rest of it will still be instinctive to the remaining players on the offense.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question comes from Adam Smith.
Hey, Phil, just touching on what you're talking about to Alyssa's question and CL about Sam and staying focused and playing within himself. Is there any inclination just on your part when you're scripting these plays or just putting your plan in place to give him more responsibility just because you know what you have in him? Just on your end, when you're getting your designs together, do you have that inclination just to put even more on his plate?
So I would say, and I always say that our offense is simpler because we want the guys to play instinctively, and that sounds like rhetoric, but that's really how it is. Wherever that level of responsibility from a decision-making standpoint is with Sam, will he have more to do this game? A little bit. I mean, again, why dish up something completely different to a player who's already one of the best at his position? We're going to ask him to do what he's always done, and maybe he'll have a few more decisions to make with regards to, it's a good thing he has more people to distribute the ball to. When Diami's out there and you have a one-on-one, you kind of know where you're going. Now he's going to have to settle in and pick the one that is in the best one-on-one scenario and trigger the football, whether it be on a screen or underneath or downtown. His job doesn't change. It's just the cast that he's playing with will be a little bit different. Their strengths are a little bit different, and so we'll play to their strengths. If we have a really good change of direction underneath guy, we may do a little bit more there with him. If we have another guy that can go downtown, then we'll try to go downtown with that guy. We were so spoiled with Javonte and Michael because both of them were so well-rounded. And we have some well-rounded backs that are going to play Saturday, but some of them are blocking better, some of them are running better, some of them are better receivers, and so we're going to utilize most of them, and we're going to play to their strengths. And I think we can get through a game that way without creating any tendencies because you don't have game 14 to go to.
Do you think you guys are even learning stuff about some of the running backs that haven't played as much and the receivers that have played much, even right now at the end of December with just right now in practice? You're learning more about what they can do?
I think you're always learning. What I learned today was there was some guys out there that took a lot more reps than they usually get, and they handled it really well. And so that was kind of promising today. But as I've said, the white team that goes in after the blue team gets the exact same amount of reps in practice all week long, and that includes Friday. So those guys have had as much time to prepare for what they do at their skill set, at their position, as the guys that were playing ahead of them. And so I think from knowing the offense and making this cut and that catch and this block and doing all those things, those are things that they know how to do already. And we just have to, they have to understand they've got to go execute and do those things against live competition on Saturday.
Okay, today's final question for Coach Longo comes from Ashley Herman. Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry about that. Hey, Coach. I know Jimbo Fisher's MO per se is to keep the momentum going. Does your locker room message parallel that in any way? And if not, what's a view into your meeting mantras?
Keep the momentum going is what you're saying they're doing today. Well, I hope we're doing the same thing. We just discussed scoring. I guess we scored a touchdown on the first drive of 8 games. We'd like to keep that going, right? We'd like that to be game 9 this Saturday. the momentum and really we want to stay consistent, and we want to continue to do what we have done all year, and that's try to be a week better for the next opponent. We respect A&M tremendously. They have one of the best defensive lines that we've seen all season, maybe in the 2 years I've been here. They're really, really good on the back end. The linebackers are excellent football players. So we're going to see one of the better defenses we've seen. We know that. We know where the individual challenges are. We know we're going to have to play physically. We know this will be one of the faster defenses we've competed against. So, I mean, look, we know our job. We're well aware of what we need to do to win the game, and it's just going to come down to executing on Saturday to give ourselves an opportunity to win on the offensive side.
Thank you, Coach.
Great, Coach. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thank you all. Have a good week. See you at the game.
Next up, we got wide receiver Daz Newsome.
Hey, Daz, welcome. Thanks for joining us for a few minutes today. If you have a question for Daz, please, again, use the raised hand function. We will get to you momentarily. Our first question comes from JB Ricks. Go ahead, JB.
Hey, what's going on, Daz? JB Ricks here from Spectrum News 1, man. Congratulations on a great season. I wanted to hit you with the question of how much did you consider not playing in this game with the new rules and how things are set up now, now that players have to prepare for the draft. And Coach Longo talked about there being 30 different type of touches or whatever with the game plan that have to be spread around now, with the two running backs, heading out for the draft. What's your mind? What is your mindset going into this bowl game? And if you could answer that first question for me too, as far as how much you thought about not playing.
Well, I'm a ball player, so I want to play. For the first question, and the second question, what'd you say for the second question again?
The second question is like, what is your mentality with those 30 different type of touches that the coach has to distribute now? You know what I mean? Like, do you want to get every single one of those touches, opportunities, and all that, or whatever? Now that you are playing in this game, and
if you give them all to me, I'll take them. But it's the same thing. It's the same game plan. We ain't changing nothing. You just gotta make plays when the ball come to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go over to Taylor Hippolytus. Go ahead.
Hey, Daz. The talk of the bowl so far has been the opt-outs. Have you seen the team with the chip on its shoulder where it feels like people are kind of not even giving you guys a chance before the game even starts?
Yeah, most definitely. We most definitely see all the stuff people saying that we won't be the same. That we see all the comments that people are saying. It's definitely making everybody play with a chip on their shoulder.
And then with this being your last game at UNC, what's it been like for you to kind of reflect on your journey at UNC, where your first 2 years Carolina really struggled, and now you're leaving and Carolina is playing in a New Year's Six type bowl game?
Yeah, I was just talking to one of the referees at practice today about that. He was just saying how we stuck in there, and when we first got here, the first 2 years, how bad it was. I mean, it wasn't all bad, but losing definitely is not fun. And then to see how we come now, it's definitely I can't even explain it.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's swing over to CL Brown. Go ahead.
Hi, Daz. I was wondering if you can kind of put in perspective, and this is dealing with, players, not just at Carolina, but just in general around the country who opt out of bowl games. Like, how important is winning the Orange Bowl to you? Like, how do you view this game?
I mean, it's one of the biggest games one of the biggest bowl games I done played in my life. It's definitely the biggest bowl game I done played in my life. So I cannot not play in it.
And this season as a whole, obviously you didn't have as many catches as you did last season. Are you putting a lot of pressure on yourself for this game, knowing that, number 2 isn't going to be on the other side of the field from you to kind of compensate for his absence?
Nah, no, sir. I know what I can do, and they also the other team know what I can do. There's no pressure. We got good players on the team still. We got players just as good as the Army.
All right, thank you.
All right, over to Luke Buxton.
You mentioned the other team. What have you seen out of Texas A&M in film so far?
We've seen that they fast. They are right to the ball. Pretty rare-winded team with a good D-line.
And then also follow up, now that the Army's out and you're kind of the leader of the wide receiver group in terms of experience and touches, are you taking on a different leadership role and trying to get guys like Joffrey and Emery and Antoine ready?
I mean, yeah, I'm most definitely trying to step in and be a leader, but we got other guys, younger guys that are trying to step in and be a leader as well.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, over to Ross Martin.
Hey, Daz, do you plan on going off and going out with a bang?
Most definitely. I'm most definitely trying to go off with a bang.
I mean, are you just pumped up to me because this is your last game? Are you pumped up? What are the feelings that's going through your mind? How excited are you to put on a show?
Hey, it's both. I'm putting on, this is my last game, and also this is one of the biggest bowl games that we played in, like I said, so I'm definitely pumped.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, Daz, I think that's our last question for you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Next up, we got offensive lineman Jordan Tucker.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Jordan, thanks for joining us. Again, to the group, if you have a question, please use your raise hand function. We'll get over to you momentarily. And today's first question will come from Jacob Turner.
Hey, Jordan, just curious obviously with Javonte and Michael out, you got some new running backs that are going to be kind of stepping in and being relied on pretty heavily against Texas A&M. What are some of the strengths that, the likes of British Brooks bring, or Josh Henderson or Elijah Green? What are some of their strengths that they kind of bring to the table as running backs?
I think some of the strengths that they bring are they're just being new backs. A lot of people are watching film, watching the backs that we did have. They made the decision to opt out and better themselves, and I'm all for that. And just the backs we got, we see them every day in practice. All of them got speed, all of them got power, and they've all been learning from Vontae and Mike as well. So as an O-line and as an offense, we got as much faith in them as we did our backs before.
Thanks, Jordan.
Okay, let's go over to Pranav Rama.
Hey, I just wanted to get your opinion on DeMarvin Leal. He's one of the top defensive players in the country. How do you guys look to limit him, and how are you going to work through that in practice?
I mean, if you could give me a number, I don't really know who that is. Like Dad said, I'm a ball player. Like, I just go out there every day, play football. I'm not really worried about who's lined up across from me. I know they got some talent on the D-line, but as an O-line, we've been playing together this whole year. We showed some highs and some lows, but we're ready to shell out and put this team on our back.
Thanks.
All right, move over to Andrew Jones.
Hey, Jordan, some of the guys and also Coach Brown yesterday talked about the chip on the shoulder that you guys have. With the opt-outs, people are saying you guys don't have a chance, all your stars are gone. Maybe the team should opt out. What are your thoughts on that? And have you guys talked much about it? And is there a real chip? Can a chip actually be a real thing going into a game like this? I don't really know much about like a chip on a shoulder, but I know, like Daz just said before, all of us are football players, and everyone is going to make the best decision for them. And we can't. We really, everybody else really doesn't have a decision in what somebody else does, and we just got to move forward, next man up. And I know every single person goes out there to practice and goes out there ready to play in a game. So if that's the chip on your shoulder, then yeah, we do have one. The next man up thing, is this kind of as if maybe they got hurt in practice and you're just not available, you guys just move forward? Is that sort of the mentality that you have when you get into the grind of the season, that whoever's ready to be there is there? That's kind of the mentality? Yeah, I do. And I think a lot of teams do preach this next man up mentality, but I think here at North Carolina, we really do enforce that. And because your next play could be your last play, and you never do know. So we try and instill in the 1s, 2s, and 3s that y'all got to be ready to go on game day. And if you're not, then you're going to get exposed for that. But
as far as how we work in North Carolina, I know that everybody's ready to go.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, our next question comes from CL Brown.
Hi, Jordan. You guys are coming off such a high after the Miami game, and then certainly learning about the Orange Bowl bid. But then it seems like the opt-outs kind of maybe took some wind out of the sail. Where would you say the confidence level of this team is right now?
Higher.
How so?
Because a lot of people think that we can't do it, and I mean, I've been here 4 years now. We've been through this. A lot of people have doubted us in the past. We've been the underdog going in and out. So it's nothing really new to me. Mike got to instill it in the young guys, but to a lot of us older guys, it's nothing new. We're ready to go, man. Like, we're just ready to play ball.
And is that something that over the course of the past season has changed? Like, do you think this team would have been a year ago, this team still would have had this amount of confidence?
In all honesty, I think after the first 2 games last season, we really saw what we could do on a national rank, and we've been playing locally really. And Mac tries to instill that in us that we're trying to be a national team, and especially after the first 2 games in Miami and South Carolina last year, I think our team saw that, and I think recruits saw that, and the staff, everybody bought in. So I think our confidence level rises with each game we play.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's go over to JB Ricks.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for taking out the time. I wanted to ask you, how much are you looking forward to the opportunity to opening up those same type of holes that you opened up for Michael and Javonte, throughout the season, and doing it for, backs that nobody has heard of up until this point?
Yeah, agreed. In a interview earlier this year, I mentioned, like, most of the time the O-line don't even know who's in until they run past us. And I think that's a good thing, because with the backs that we got now, same thing in practice, we don't even know who's really back there. But when they run past us, we know. And we're excited just to score, to move people, to take the line of scrimmage, all that. Like, we're just excited for everything.
All right, thank you.
Okay, over to Alyssa Ray.
Can you put in perspective what this program has done in just a few years? And you guys are heading into a big time bowl game this weekend.
Yeah, perspective, like I said, being here 4 years, these last 2 years have been incredible with Coach Brown and bringing the staff in and just everyone really buying in. It's definitely made a change on how I see football and how I see life. It's just been great. All positives from my end. Mac really came in, made a difference on and off the field. He's trying to make our future better, and that's what we love. And as soon as we all bought in, this family just became closer and closer. And just the perspective of that, I don't know if people can see it from outside, but this is a close unit. We're all for each other, regardless of personal decisions. Like, it's a family.
Thank you.
All right, today's final question for Jordan comes from Taylor Vippolis.
Hey, Jordan. What advice could you give as a veteran to some of these younger guys to kind of help keep their emotions in check, where you're going up against a top 5 opponent in a major game like the Orange Bowl?
What's good, Vip? To be honest, my biggest piece of advice will probably be practice how you want to play, just because, in my opinion, practice is way harder than a game. Once I get out in the game, I could just go out and do what I do best, and that's just compete. And it's really the emphasis on competing that's half the battle. Just going out there to fight and knowing that you got 10 other brothers, really 100 other brothers out there that got your back. That's what I would preach to the young guys.
Appreciate it, Jordan.
Yep, no doubt.
Jordan, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we got wide receiver Emery Simmons.
Hey, Emery, thanks for joining us. Our first question for Emery will come from Luke Buxton.
Hey, Emery. You've obviously seen probably a lot of noise on social from the media, whether it be Vegas kind of talking about the opt-outs and hurting UNC's chances. to win on Saturday. Do you feel a sense of disrespect, and are you playing with a chip on your shoulder after hearing all of this, despite playing well this season?
Not at all. I feel like us as a team, I feel like we all supported our teammates with the decision they made. The goal of this game is to play, and then if you're blessed with the opportunity to go and further your career, then take it. So it's all love to them guys. I wish them the best, but I feel like with our team, we still got guys that's in play, that could fulfill them roles and make the big plays. That's why we're recruited. That's why the coaches come out and get us. So I feel like even now with them opting out, I still feel like we still got a good chance to come out there and prove like that we're a top contender.
I guess that's the question I'm getting at. Because of all the opt-outs and people maybe doubting UNC a little bit more, despite you saying, you get recruited for a reason, are you playing with the chip on your shoulder, kind of hearing this commentary, knowing how you can play and your teammates can play?
I still wouldn't say it wouldn't be really much of a chip. It's more just the confidence is already there. We know what we do in practice. We know the type of skill set we have. So I feel like it's another game. You just go out there and play. It's just on a bigger stage. Just now with the chances you get, it's on a bigger stage, but it still doesn't change the game at all. I still feel like our guys are still going to be ready, and we're all going to step up to the plate.
Cool. Appreciate it, Emery.
All right, let's go over to Jacob Turner.
Hey, Emery, kind of sticking on the opt-outs for a second. How much does your role change, if at all, with, so many skill guys opting out and kind of staying with that as well? How much does your mindset maybe going into the game change, knowing that you're going to be a guy that's really heavily relied on to go out there and make plays on a consistent basis?
My mindset still hasn't changed. It's still been with me throughout the season, just next man up. It's been that way from the beginning of the season. You still got to take that, even though Diami's not here, you still have to still prepare like you're in that starting role, or you're going to get the ball, because you never know. So with him being gone, it's making more room for guys just to come up and make plays, and just now it's gonna be all over the place now. So it's less more so other guys like our running backs like Josh Henderson, British Brooks, and a little bit more of our receivers just coming in and making big plays to help out this offense and keep the offense at where it's been.
Thanks, Emery.
All right, our last question for Emery will come from Andrew Jones.
Hey, Emery, you were inserted in the starting lineup after Bo went down, and you've got a ton of reps since then. How has your game evolved over these last, seven games or so?
Just more confidence, I would say. Over these last couple of games with me getting starting, I just felt like I built more confidence, but I felt like that confidence had been there all along. It's just a matter of getting the opportunity to go out there and show it. And so I felt like with that happening, it was just more so next man up mentality, and just go out there and playing the game you love, just going out there and having fun doing it. And it just worked out.
We've seen some flashes from Joffrey, the Virginia game, for example. He had a big touchdown in that game. What is your scouting report of Joffrey Brown?
Joffrey Brown is explosive. That he's an explosive guy, very twitchy, very fast, and it's just like his brother. Can beat you deep. Got great hands. All around the board, good guy, a great player.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Emery. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Before we move to Sam, I'd like to congratulate Andrew on getting his microphone fixed today. It's great work. It's a good yesterday.
That's right. The battery worked. Our batteries worked. They were charged, and no wind sprints for me after the presser today. Good stuff.
Finally. I'm feeling like we accomplished something, Mark.
I collapsed midway through the first sprint yesterday.
We got Sam Howell.
Hey, Sam, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Our first question for Sam will come from John Wilson.
Hey, Sam, from the study that you've done on Texas A&M, what challenges will their defense present you guys on Saturday?
Yeah, they do a really good job on defense. Their defense coordinator does a really good job. And they really on all three levels they're really good on the defensive front. Their linebackers and their secondary, they're all really good. They're an SEC defense, and we know that that means something. I think they're very good up front on the D line, so that's definitely a challenge for us. And then they just have a whole lot of athletes all over that defense, so it's definitely going to be a lot of hard matchups for us, and we're going to be prepared for it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's swing over to Alyssa Ray.
Sam, a lot of the talk leading up to this one has been about the opt-outs and not Texas A&M. How do you try to, as a leader on this team, keep your guys focused on Texas A&M and not on any of the distractions?
Yeah, honestly, it hasn't been much of a distraction. We kind of just move on. It is what it is. Those guys they made the decision that they thought was best for them, and we all respect their decisions. But at the end of the day, we got a job to do. We have a football game on Saturday, and we got to go win the football game. So we really can't worry about any of that. We just got to move forward. So that's really the message I try to relay to these guys. And we have a lot of guys that need to step up and make some plays for us this weekend for us to have a chance to win.
We saw Texas A&M sit outside of that top four pretty much all season. To be able to play a team like that in the Orange Bowl, how much excitement is surrounding this game?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for us, to play a great opponent like Texas A&M, who very easily could be in the college football playoff right now. So it's definitely a great challenge for it and for us. And, we're definitely excited to play in a caliber game like this. This isn't a game that people would think this program would be in a couple years ago. So it just shows how far we've come, but, we definitely want to go and make a statement on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will come from JB Ricks.
Hey, what's going on, Sam? Thanks for taking out the time. Sticking with the opt-out theme, Coach Longo talked about, him having to come up with a new game plan where he was going to switch up, around 30 different snaps or whatever that were going to go to Michael and Javonte. Are you taking this game not only as an opportunity to build this program for the future, but, kind of show off the stats that you'll be able to bring to the table or whatever, now that you'll have those different type of play calls to play around with?
Yeah, for me, it's nothing different. I'm going to prepare how I'm going to prepare, and then just execute the play that he calls. I'm not going to try to do any more than I usually do. I am who I am. I'm going to just go out there and play my game. But I'm definitely excited for these younger guys to have a chance to really show what they got, because we really haven't seen them play any snaps that really mean anything this year. So it's definitely a great opportunity for those guys, and it shows what we're going to be like next year with these guys leaving. So it's a great opportunity for those guys to get some good quality reps and see if they can make some plays for us.
All right, let's go over to Luke Buxton. Go ahead, Luke.
Sam, Mac talked about yesterday how no one's opting out of the college football playoffs, but you see a lot of opt-outs in kind of these New Six Bowl games and other bowl games across the country. What does the Orange Bowl mean to you as a college football player? Like, how important is it to win this game?
Yeah, the Orange Bowl definitely means a lot to me. It's a game I grew up watching. It's a game I always wanted to play in down there in Miami. And obviously, it being a New Year's Six Bowl, we know how prestigious the game is. We're not just happy to be going down there. We want to win the football game. So that's the mentality of our team. With the opt-outs, I understand all the decisions that those guys made. But for us here, the guys that are playing, we want to go down there and win. So that's our mentality.
Not to put you too much on the spot here, but I'm curious about your take with the college football playoff. Would you like to see it expand to maybe 6 to 8 teams?
Yeah, I think that would be cool. It's just a little more exciting, more teams. But I feel like once you expand it to 6, then whoever gets left out, number 7, they're gonna try to make a case to be in. I feel like you're still gonna have the same issues you have now, no matter how many teams you have. But I'm definitely all for expanding it. I think they're only good to come out of that.
Cool, thanks.
Next question comes from CL Brown.
Hey, Sam, what do you see as the biggest challenges, given that, you guys last played almost a month ago? It'll be coming up, and also having to work in guys for the three Javonte wasn't started, but the three major guys that aren't playing. What do you see it kind of as the biggest challenges to finding your chemistry and staying in sync?
Yeah, it's just different without those guys on the field. So, we've had a couple weeks to prepare, but we really don't have that many game reps. I don't have very many game reps with the younger running backs. I know I've thrown to the younger receivers a couple times, but really it's just not, we just don't really have the same chemistry. So that's probably been the biggest challenge, just trying to develop that chemistry as good as we can before Saturday.
And what also do you see kind of as the biggest differences with this bowl experience, given that we're in the pandemic? Like, you're not going down for these events and, with Texas A&M and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much another glorified, maybe a little extended, but a glorified road trip.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I hate it. I love bowl week. I loved our time last year in DC for the Military Bowl. That was one of the funnest weeks I've had in my entire life, just being there with the team. So I'm definitely a little bit disappointed that we don't get to be down there for a week and spend time with my guys. But it is what it is. Our main mentality is to go win the game, so that's what we're going to try to do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's swing over to Pranav Rama. Go ahead.
Sam, Texas A&M is one of the best teams in the country. How are you going to try to work with Mac Brown in terms of installing the right game plan this week?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Sam, Texas A&M is one of the best teams in the country. And how are you going to try to work with Mac Brown and Phil to try to get the right game plan?
Yeah, it's really the same as every other week. It doesn't really matter the opponent. We go through the same process every single week as far as developing the game plan. We always try to come up with the best game plan as possible, no matter who we're playing. Obviously this is a great challenge for us. But yeah, really we just stick to our same process that we've been sticking to all year.
Do you have a little bit of an underdog mentality, just because people are kind of counting you out of this game?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. People aren't really giving us a chance anymore, especially with these guys opting out. So they're probably thinking it's going to be a blowout. But we know people are saying that about us, but we really don't care about that. We know the guys we have. I think a lot of people are saying that because they don't really know what we have behind those guys that have played here for so long. And we know the type of players we have here. So I'm excited for those guys to get out there and really show everybody what they really have, because there's been a lot of disrespect towards the guys who are going to have to step up and play.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, we'll close out today's media session with Ross Martin. Go ahead, Ross.
Hey, Sam, what do you expect from Joffrey Brown, Emery Simmons, Antoine Green stepping in for Dyami Brown?
Yeah, I expect a lot of big things out of them. Those three guys are going to have to come up with some big plays for us to have a chance to win the football game. Dyami's due for a couple deep ball catches a game, at least one touchdown a game. So, they definitely have to make some plays for us to have a chance to win. And they've had a really good couple weeks of practice. And they're all three really good receivers. All three of them are definitely talented enough to be starters here. So, they're talented enough. They put the work in. So I'm excited for those guys to get out there.
What can you tell us about Antoine? He's one player. Emery and Joffrey have caught a number of balls this year, but Antoine's kind of hasn't been as productive this year. What can you tell us about Green?
Yeah, Antoine's a really, really talented player. I think he had the injury his freshman year. He was kind of in and out last year with injuries too. So, he hasn't got to play as much as we would have liked him to play. But he's definitely capable of being a really good player. I think Antoine's going to play this game for a really long time. I think he's that talented. I think he played. I watched some of his freshman year when I was still in high school, and I thought he was one of the best receivers in the country. So he's definitely a freak. He really is a really all-around receiver. He's got great hands. He can catch the deep ball. So I'm excited for him to get out there and get a lot of reps this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, Sam, thanks for your time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, Gil. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in Miami.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it, everyone.